minutes is spent selling you something, and that is not our intention today. So be assured that everything that's going to be presented here is meant to be purely educational for you, something you can walk away with and feel like, hey, you know what, I've got something, I know a little bit more about digital marketing in a way that's going to help my business. But stick around to the end, and we do have some free things for you to walk away with that we hope are helpful to you. So we appreciate the opportunity to talk and look forward to jumping in on our agenda with what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to start off by talking to you about digital marketing integration. What does that even mean? You're going to start hearing that word a lot around the industry. When people talk about digital marketing, that word integration is happening more and more. We're going to tell you what it is and what it really means.
We're also going to talk about why and how digital marketing is literally changing the landscape of how companies are being found online. And then ultimately in how digital marketing and integration, as well as how online reviews and why they are so important to sales conversions on your business. And then Drew is going to dive deep into how to go and get online reviews and how to ask your customers how to give you those reviews.
33-mile radius is really, I think, a leader in the industry when it comes to online reviews, and so I think you're going to find his information to be really helpful. As we talk to people in cleaning and restoration, one of the most common things we hear is, how can I get more reviews? How can I take care of bad reviews? And you're going to get some really great information on that from 33-mile radius today.
Yep, and then we're going to wrap it all up, talk about how online reviews and marketing integration work together to produce fantastic results. And then, like we said, we're going to give you some awesome tools and some resources for free that you can go and take this information and use it in your business that you'll find very, very helpful. So let's jump in and let's talk about digital marketing integration and the digital climate that is out on the internet.
And really, if you want to know why there's so many big changes, why things are different in that landscape, it all comes down to this. On average, we look at our phone 150 times a day. And when I first heard that number, I thought it seemed kind of silly, and then I started checking myself a little bit, and I probably bring that average up. I think I'm over the 150, so I don't know about you, but the way we use mobile in our lives has changed the way we interact.
And digital marketing integration focuses on bringing the core digital channels together to optimize a company's presence and brand online and to maximize those results. And ultimately, the key to digital marketing, the key to business success is to be where your customers are. And so digital marketing integration is putting all of the pieces, the art of putting all the pieces together to produce high-yielding results from your digital marketing strategies.
So at Spot On Solutions and 33-mile radius, we spend a lot of time working on ways we can help marketers win in this mobile-first world. And I say mobile-first for a reason. The shift to mobile really isn't any longer, it's not something specifically that's going to happen or is happening. That shift has happened. And how do we know that? Well, why don't we Google it?
Let's look specifically at Google and what they're saying. There are now trillions of searches made globally on Google every single year. And as of last year, over half of all of those searches happened on smartphones globally. Oops.
So YouTube reaches more 18 to 49-year-olds in the U.S. than any broadcast or cable TV network just on mobile alone.
That's ridiculously high numbers.
And more than half of all of your web traffic is now coming from smartphones and tablets.
You know, we are professional. We do search engine optimization. We do these types of things for our clients, and consistently, month over month, we monitor the mobile visits to websites, and that is consistently increasing month over month. And so, as we jump into this climate in regards to search engine optimization, search engine marketing, how do they work? That they just work better together. And we often talk to clients about, well, I'm just interested in getting my organic rankings, and I want to be first at the top of my organic rankings. You talk to clients who know I don't care about organic rankings. I just want to be at the top of the paid ads. But we want to talk to you a few minutes about how integrating search engine optimization and SEM, search engine marketing, definitely work better together.
So I want you to pretend that this slide isn't these things next to each other, but it's actually like looking at your computer screen, and this is the length of your computer screen. The first thing you are going to see at the very top of any Google search is 4 paid ads, and you can see how much room those paid ads take up in the search page. Matter of fact, on a mobile, the first 2 things that show up on your screen that take your whole screen are those 2 paid ads. Immediately following the 4 paid ads, you see what's called the 3-pack. The 3-pack is the 3 map listings. And underneath the map listings, that's when you're going to see the organic listings. Those organic listings are oftentimes referred to as your SEO, your search engine optimization. So you have 4 pieces of the puzzle happening right there. Part of it is SEO, and part of it is your search engine marketing. But that's what fills up the page of a Google search. Derek had the pointer on. He just took the pointer off.
Sorry. So let's talk about driving incremental clicks. A full 89% of visits to an advertiser's site from search ads were incremental to clicks on organic results. What that means is that the visits would not have occurred without the ad campaigns. It was surprising even to us that we took a look at brands who decreased or paused their search campaigns in the past, and the results were very, very hard to ignore. Of the brands who stopped them altogether, who stopped all of their advertising altogether, 89% of the traffic to their organic or to their website was lost.
We conducted a follow-up study after those original ad pause to answer the question, how often is the ad impression accompanied by associated organic results? And we found that 66% of ad clicks occurred that were not tied to an organic result. That means that 66% of those ads that were clicked on do not even have an organic result on the first page.
So if, for example, water damage restoration in your city does not organically get your brand on the first page of the search engine results, you can still get on the first page via paid search ads. This holds true for impressions as well. 81% of ad impressions are not associated with the results that show up on the first page. So your ad may not get clicked on, but you are getting brand awareness that would have not otherwise you would not otherwise have received.
And so I know you may be thinking about cannibalization, like between doing SEM and doing SEO, but our studies show that many of these types of user clicks are not replaced by organic search clicks, even when being in that top organic results slot.
On average, 50% of the ad clicks that occurred with a top rank organic results are incremental, or they would not be recovered organically if the ad campaign was paused. That means if you usually have 100 clicks a day from an organic search ranking, when you have an ad,
you get 150.
You get 150 clicks.
Yeah.
But and those ad clicks with an associated organic results in ranks 2 to 5, and then 2 to 5 position on average, 81% of the ad clicks are incremental. So once again, if you use the 100 clicks a day organic benchmark, you'd get 182 clicks a day, and when you rank organically in the 5 spot, you get 196 clicks a day.
And that really makes sense, because when you're further down on the search engine results page, you're barely seen in that 5+ spot. So it's even more advantageous to have your ads up at the top of the page.
Exactly. So we've discussed incrementality,
which, by the way, is totally a Google word. I don't know that I'd ever use that word until I started working with Google, and they use the word incrementality.
As a matter of fact, I had to Google it.
Yeah.
Like, what is this word? But we've discussed incrementality on desktop. But what about on mobile? Well, there were similar results when we ran the study for mobile phones. However, we feel it's even more important to show up on the top of the page on mobile. But we're going to get into more of that in just a bit.
So let's take a deeper dive. Your vertical is 82%, which is a lot, but it's still a lot less than the average. So you see all of these different industries, 82% in the services industry.
And so we've been talking a lot about clicks on desktops and mobile, and of course, clicks are important. But what is happening after the click? When integrating organic and paid search together, the interactions that happen on a website or with a brand increase quite substantially. There are, like for example, there are 45% increase in actions on a site, whether it's calling you or filling out a form, a lead form on your site, or so on. Those increases are substantial.
I think this slide probably best illustrates or answers that question. If you've ever asked yourself, should I do paid? Should I invest my marketing dollars in SEO? Where should I put that money? I think this really hits home on how having both of those working together gives you such better performance overall.
So as mentioned, interactions increase when you have paid and organic working together. Now, with paid ads, you can help drive specific actions. Ads allow you to add extensions that can help cross-sell or upsell and lead customers further down the purchase funnel. As you can see, a few examples include ratings extensions. They help users research your company. Site links help users discover more about you, and call extensions,
which are critical.
Absolutely critical, especially in the service, in-home services industry. They help users act quickly to just click to call you. Other ways you can use extensions, illustrate or educate your customers on related products, reviews, and awards that you have, upcoming events, guarantees, special promotions, get driving directions to your facility, register for a newsletter, contact your call center, get an in-store offer. Many, many things you can do with those through ads and the ad extensions.
One of the advantages, maybe the biggest advantage of those call extensions is this is a newer feature to pay-per-click ads. So if you've done pay-per-click in the past, this is something to really keep in mind and look at. Pay-per-click used to be limited to a very small number of characters that could go on the ad. That is no longer the case. And now with ad extensions, your ad takes a lot of room up at the page. And you know that the more room you take, there's less room for a competitor.
Perfect point. Excellent point. And just in the building restoration, I know we have a lot of people on the webinar today that are in the cleaning and or the disaster services, disaster restoration field. Just some industry trends. The average monthly searches throughout the United States. There are, and these are numbers as early as fourth quarter of 2016. Over 4 million average monthly searches just for building restoration related searches, which is fantastic. But that's only part of the puzzle. We found that year over year, the building restoration queries on mobile are growing at a staggering rate, 21% year-over-year growth for building restoration queries on mobile. And that holds consistent, that kind of growth holds consistent across virtually all service-related industries.
Which means you are in a great industry right now because the growth is pretty phenomenal. Let's just take a minute and talk about social media. We could do a whole separate seminar on social media, but really for our purposes today, I think it's important that you understand why social plays a big role in increasing visibility across these many channels. It improves a company's search engine optimization and their search engine marketing rankings.
So let's just talk really quick a little about how social media integrates with search engine optimization, with SEM. First of all, social media is fantastic for link building back to your website, which increases your search engine optimization, increases your popularity, so to speak,
it's like
with Google.
a link is like a popularity vote.
Exactly.
Social is great to build your audience. Get in front of those people that you can really interact with.
The types of people that are more likely to use your services. And then social media is fantastic about building your brand and building those brand searches online.
You want your website to rank on Facebook, or on Google, but you also want your Facebook page to rank. You want your YouTube page to rank. You want to lock up that internet real estate in a lot of ways. And then social is also great to help you with promotions.
And then this is our research shows that it takes 7+ interactions with a brand before someone becomes your customer, and that's where remarketing is the key to ensuring that you have the ability to reach your customers, your potential customers, over and over again, so that they are likely to call you. And remarketing is a fantastic tie it all together tool.
You've already paid to get them to see you, right? And so stay in front of them. Highly targeted to people that have already shown an interest in what you have or in your company. So just stay in front of them, but stay in front of them where they are. That's the beautiful thing about remarketing and the Google Display Network, is that your ads show up where those people are at.
You have the opportunity to tailor your ads to relate to the visitors that come to your site, and then the experiences that they have while they're searching the web, through search ads as well as through display ads, and where you show them and deliver a great message tailored to their specific needs that resonate with them.
And if you're really wondering the difference between those, those are going to be your text ads that are in those 4 ads at the top of the page. Display are going to be graphic ads that show up on various websites that people go and visit on their own.
So we're going to turn the time over to, we're going to give the screen actually over to our good friend Drew.
This is important because this is where reviews come in. You can have fantastic results in where you're showing up on Google, but the next question is, what are people saying about you, or what are they not saying about you? And that's where reviews play a huge part in that social proof that's going to convince somebody to take the next step and call you. So we're excited to turn some time over to Drew at 33 Mile Radius. They really specialize in online reviews and can give you the secret sauce.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for your part of the presentation. I think it definitely hit home to me even on some certain points, and hopefully I can kind of explain how reviews tie into this whole kind of marketing puzzle, if you will, and how it kind of associates with, not only paid search but SEO and everything else. And Derek, I think at the end there you mentioned, people need to see your business about 7 times before they make a purchase on average, and I think reviews is just another one of those touch points that people are looking for before they make a phone call or reach out to you on a forum, etc. And I think the reviews piece is only going to grow. I think people are getting more comfortable with reviews online as time goes, and understand the importance of it. So with that being said, I'm going to start my piece of the presentation, and if you guys have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to ask, and we'll get those answered probably at the end of the webinar. But if I need to stop, I definitely will do so. So thank you again, Katie and Derek. So before we dive into how specifically online reviews can help grow your business, I want to go over the fundamental principle of marketing called social proof. Now, you might have heard of this buzzword before, and despite my dislike for buzzwords, it's extremely powerful. The idea of the principle was actually created by a guy named Dr. Robert Cialdini, and in a nutshell, it states that people are more likely to make an action, and in our case, a purchase or a phone call to your business, if they see others doing the same, especially if they see others having positive results. And this kind of goes deep into human psychology, which for today I'm going to spare, but it is important to keep in mind the idea of social proof and how is it deeply wired into our brains. So listed on this slide are some examples of social proof, And today I'm going to focus on the fourth one, which revolves around reviews from users, particularly online. So I think everybody pretty much knows why reviews are important, and there are plenty of stats out there about how many people are looking at reviews on the internet and how many people are using reviews before purchasing a product. For the sake of time, I'm going to assume you trust me on this piece, but here are some good key stats that I want to review. In case you didn't know, 84% of people trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation. 74% of consumers say that positive reviews make them trust a local business more, and only 9% of consumers don't read online reviews. So this is how important online reviews are, and again, like I said before, I think these numbers are only going to grow over time. So yeah, everyone, and probably including you, reads reviews online before you purchase something, and there's nothing earth-shattering there. But the key point is, did you know that reviews can affect the three most important aspects of generating leads? And what I mean by this is the more reviews you have, the better results you can see in SEO rankings, paid search click-through rate, and even conversion rate. And reviews can actually layer on top of what you're already doing and exponentially increase those results. As Derek and Katie, mentioned earlier, running a multi-channel marketing campaign that involves paid search, SEO, and social media is critical to your success because a potential customer may find you in multiple different places before they call you. Well, reviews is actually just another place where potential customers can find out more about you and how you deal with customers and what your customer service is like. In addition, reviews also add another, can be viewed as a whole separate marketing channel onto itself. And the way to think about this is, you may be paying somebody to do your SEO. You might be either running your own paid search campaign or paying somebody else to do so. But the best part about reviews is that they're free to get. You don't have to pay Google. You don't have to pay Facebook. You don't have to pay really anybody to get them. They're out there. You just have to ask for them by your customers. So with a small budget to just incentivize your employees to ask for more reviews, you can get almost better results or increased conversion rates than you could from increased organic rankings, paid search rankings, and listings, that sort of thing. So it's just as powerful as those tools, and it can actually impact those exponentially. So let's dive into that a little bit more here. In terms of SEO, you might be aware that Google has hundreds of ranking factors that determine where your site shows up when you do a search. And I'm not going to go into all of them today just because we don't have enough time. But one of the ones that has been growing over the years is what they call review signals. And if you can see the graphic in the slide here, I know it's a little bit blurry. If you break down review signals, it actually includes review quality, review velocity, and review diversity. So what Google is actually directly telling us is that reviews matter, and it's not just about having a few reviews. It's about having quality, frequent, and real reviews. And if you think about it for a minute or two, it makes sense, right? The more reviews that a company has, the more likely they're a better quality company, and more importantly, a real company. And this is what Google is all about. They want to help their customers find the best product or service that they are searching for. So to take a step back, what does this all mean? This means that you need a steady stream of good and real reviews over time. This doesn't mean that you can have 50 fake reviewers leave you reviews all at once. Google is smart and they're going to know that you're leaving fake reviews for your business. On the flip side, they know that truly good companies will get a steady stream of good reviews over time. And this is exactly what you should be aiming for. And to describe a steady stream of good reviews over time, that means they're looking at not only how many stars you're getting, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1 stars, but also how many you're getting over time. They care about both equally. So shifting gears, I wanted to talk about paid search and reviews. paid search and reviews go together very nicely. And I know Katie and Derek kind of mentioned some ad extensions on the previous slides. You mentioned reviews as one of those, and that is the case. And what the extension is actually called is what they call seller ratings, and unfortunately, it's not something you can just turn on or off. What you have to do is actually get 150 reviews in the past 12 months in order to qualify that for seller reviews, and Google turns that on automatically. A good example is shown above, and I know this is a shoe site, but it gets the point across. They'll actually show you how your company is rated right there within the ad. And the best part about this is that reports that I've seen and customers that I've worked with, they actually see a 24% higher click-through rate on these ads compared to just one without the reviews on them. And that actually leads to a 26% higher conversion rate. So that's great and all, but the only issue is that you have to get 150 reviews within a year, and that can be quite difficult, especially for small businesses out there, kind of like you guys that I'm talking to. However, what I'm going to talk to you guys in a little bit here is how you can get more reviews and qualify for seller ratings yourself, and I have many clients who have done so. So the next piece that I want to talk about is conversion rates and reviews. And reviews directly impact your conversion rate, meaning how many people will call or reach out to you after seeing your listing or ad on Google. So if you take a look at the listing on the slide here, which company are you going to call? If you're looking at the one on the right, you're going to call the guy with 34 reviews, right? But if you notice the one I highlighted in blue, he has actually one review, but they're not even showing up in the listing. And this is because Google only shows stars for companies with over 5 reviews. So if you're like this Dano Plumbing guy here, you're really going to want more reviews, because why it works is going to get increased conversion rates. And actually, a recent report from Bright Local showed that having a 5-star rating boosts your click-through search. Increase your search click-through rate by 28%. And if you compare that to SEO rankings, that's almost as getting an additional bump from SEO in terms of a new search position. So I kind of jumped ahead a little bit, and so for some context here, these screenshots were taken right from, the right one was taken from the map listing in Google, and the left one was actually taken in the local stack. So if you're not familiar with that, is the local stack is the top 3 listings that Google shows when you do a local search. And the key factor to remember here is just because you're #1 in the local stack does not automatically mean that you're going to get phone calls. Reviews are actually the biggest factor here. So solely focusing on ranking will not get you as many calls as you could. So if you're going to spend all the hard work or time and money or pay somebody to do SEO for you and get you ranked in these positions, you're going to need to make sure that you have reviews as well, because showing up here like this Dano Plumbing or Ed Gem Plumbing, it's not going to get you anywhere. Yeah, you may be ranked #1, but everybody's eyes are going to target right to Why It Works Plumbing and give them a call. So I want to spend a little bit more time on conversion rates and just give you some more metrics around it. A company called Revio actually found that 50 or more reviews can mean a 4.6 increase in conversion rate. And you can see that in the chart here, that in general, the more reviews that you have online, the higher increase in conversion rates that you can expect. And what's even more staggering is in a Harvard study, they found, and these are for restaurants, but I think it applies across the board, that restaurants added a 5 to 9% lift in revenues for each additional star rating that they received. Like I said, while this is based on restaurants, think about it. What would an additional 5% or just even 1 or 2% in revenue mean for your business? This is how important reviews are. Not only to your online marketing, but to your bottom line revenues. All right, so I'm going to shift gears here. I hopefully explained to you, how important reviews are and kind of what makes them work within marketing and why those numbers are so important. But I want to go into how can you get more reviews online and how you can manage the reviews that you have properly. So I'm not gonna say getting reviews is easy, because they are tough and there's no way around it. The problem is that most businesses just hope to get reviews, and they don't have an actual process to get reviews. So the question becomes, how then do you ever expect to get reviews if you're not seeking them out? Customers are lazy, especially when it comes to online things, and they're not going to do anything for you unless there's some meaning behind it. Yeah, you might get some reviews here and there, but they're going to be few and far between. So the question becomes, what do you have to do? And the answer is you have to ask for a review from each and every single one of your clients multiple times. It kind of goes back to, hey, a customer has to see you 7 times before they purchase from you or give you a call. Sometimes you have to ask multiple times in order to get them to leave you a review. So from our testing, there are currently 4 decent ways to ask for a review. The first one is emailing a customer, asking them to leave you a review on your website or on social media or Google My Business. The second is doing something very similar, which is texting the customer. The third is calling the person and asking them if they would take time out of their day to leave you a review. And fourth, which is probably the most effective way, is to ask in person after the job or service is completed. Now this is my favorite because people are much more open when you're standing there right there with them in person and ask you for a review. And this is especially true if you're a local business, as you're dealing with customers face to face. If you did even a decent job, they should be pretty excited that if you're in water damage restoration especially, that you just saved their house. You just changed their life and put their life essentially back together. So they should be pretty happy with you. So I want to break down each one of these steps individually, and here are a few tips to to request a review over email. The first is to make sure it's timely, and you don't want to be spammy either. You don't want to keep emailing them over and over again. But the critical thing that you want to do is include a link to the site that you want them to go to, whether that's on Facebook or whether that's in Google My Business or whether that's in Yelp or Angie's List or Home Advisor. Wherever you're trying to get reviews, create a link, put that right in the email, and have them go right to that page. They don't have to do any work. They don't have to search for you or go to any particular place to try to find you. Again, like I said, people are lazy, so the more you can do for them, the better. The second one that I mentioned is text messaging, and I think a lot of people forget about the power of text messaging, mainly because I think everybody still holds it a little bit close to their chest. They don't want to come across too personal or too spammy, but if you do it right and you just say, hey, I'm going to send you a text message with a review link to my Google page or to my Facebook page, people are a lot more open to that. So just let them know that you're going to be texting them before you do so. And again, the same thing holds true with emails. Send them a link so they can click right on their phone and go to that page that you want a review on. So phone, in my opinion, is the second best method to get reviews. Again, it's very personal, and you'll be able to tell exactly how a customer is feeling about the level of service you provided. So you can kind of feel them out and see if you did a good job or not. And if you didn't, obviously you can try to work with them and make things right. If you did a good job, go ahead and ask them for a review. Again, people tend to follow instructions when they're told to do something, so you need to make sure, hey, can you leave me a review on Google? Just go to Google, type in my brand name and click on the review button, and that would really help me out with my business. It's going to help me grow my business. All right, so the first 3 are emailing, text messaging, and phone calling, and I think those all 3 work very well together. But this 4th one is the most important, and when combined with the other 3, you're going to exponentially see more reviews to your business. And if you take one thing away from my presentation here today, it's this one right here. If you want reviews, you're going to have to ask in person for that review. It's that simple, but it's also that hard, but you have to do it if you want more reviews online. We have found that asking in person gets more than 2 to 3 times the response than from phone calls and emails. And there's just something about that personal connection you make when you ask for a review in person. So how do you ask for reviews in person? The critical thing is to remember to ask. And I know that's kind of silly, but you have to do it or you're not going to get that review. And once you get in the habit of kindly asking for reviews, you have to kind of craft your message. I'm going to get into that in the next slide. You have to explain to them that you have to go onto Google, go onto Facebook, and leave that review, and it's going to help you grow your business. And getting all your referrals is really important to you. So you have to kind of explain that in a good way, which I probably didn't do right there. So let's go to the next page. Here are some example responses that you can do. Many of our clients use these in their day-to-day business, and I know it's hard, especially when you have multiple employees out there dealing with your customers face-to-face. It's really hard to get them to ask for a review, but if you come up with your own script and make them practice it in front of you over and over again, they're going to get it, and they're going to make sure to ask for that review each and every time. So again, here are a couple of example responses that you can do. If I have more, I can definitely help you craft one if you need to after the presentation. Just email me, and I'll be happy to help you craft one. So now that I kind of went over how to get reviews, I want to go over how to manage reviews. And this is often overlooked as well. But there are 2 key points when dealing with reviews that are coming in. The first is to make sure that you respond to each and every review that comes in, no matter what. No matter how good, bad, or crazy, or whatever the reviewer said about your company, you have to respond. And secondly, and most importantly, when you are responding, you have to leave your emotions out of it. I've seen many of my customers and other ones out there ruin all the work they have done by getting reviews by replying to a negative review in the wrong way. So let's go over to how to reply to these reviews. I'm going to start off easy, which is responding to a good review, and it usually feels pretty good. And you're in a good mood, so it's not that difficult. But there are a couple of key things to remember. One is you need to be timely. Don't wait around too long before you respond. The more timely you are, the better it's going to look for potential customers, because it shows that you're interacting and you're proactively dealing with customer issues, or even good issues, I should say. And the second thing is to refer to the person by name. If they don't leave a name, try to look up and see who it was. But making that personal connection is something that potential customers are going to look for. So in these 2 examples up here, you can see that the response from the owner says, "Hey, thank you for the 5-star review, Anthony. We're pleased that Tim and Matt resolved your plumbing issue. Your business is appreciated." So it goes above and beyond just the typical thank you. It actually goes and thanks that particular person, and people can sense that you made a personal connection with that client or customer. All right, so let's move on to bad reviews, and there are 2 ways to respond to a bad review. One's going to be like an adult, and the other, I hate to say it, is like a child. This example is not the right way to do it. The client above is obviously frustrated with the level of service that they received, and to a certain extent, I don't blame them. I don't blame the business owner about being upset about this review. However, the problem is that the owner takes the issue head on and tries to defend and explain the situation all over again. And if you read his response, it actually may sound like a reasonable reason as to why things didn't work out, but at the end of the day, it does not resolve the customer's issue, and it comes across a bit defensive. More importantly, if you're a potential customer or your potential customers are reading this, they're not going to care. They're going to read about 5 words of that response and give up. And as I mentioned a few slides ago, the major issue in this response is it's based on emotion. Now, again, I understand that this is easier said than done, but it's critical to leave your emotions out of it. The best practice is to either have somebody else write the response, or before you send that out, is have somebody review what you wrote. So with that being said, let's take a look at the right way to respond to a bad review. So I don't know, hopefully you can see the difference. The owner is actively trying to solve the issue, and even if he doesn't, everybody reading the response is going to know that you at least tried. And it's short and sweet. Most people reading this review are going to want to know that you did something to at least try to make it right. Remember that when you respond to a review that everybody can see it, not just the person that left the review. So this means that all of your potential customers are going to see a reply and judge you on your reply almost more than the review itself. So it's critical that you portray yourself in the best possible light. The other tip to keep in mind is to add your name to the response to make it personal and that you're taking responsibility for whatever problem the client is having. In other words, own up to the issue. Reviews are all about the fact that customers are almost always right, even if they might be wrong. And I'm not saying that you have to bow down to every single person, but at least on the surface you should show that you try to do your best to make your customers happy in a professional manner. And I actually had a client who left his phone number on a reply to a bad review a few months ago. And what happened was, I don't think the review got resolved. It was still a bad review. But about a month later, he had a client reach out to him directly and say, hey, I was looking at your service online. I was actually reading a review and you put your phone number as a reply. And I just want to give you a call and see if you could help me out with this particular thing he was dealing with. It was a water damage contractor. But in any case, that's an example of turning around a bad review into a positive one. Even though the bad review was still there and customers still saw it, they saw a response from the owner and actually gave him a call right because of that review. All right, so that kind of sums up my presentation today and my part of it on reviews. Again, we went over why reviews are important. We went over how to get more reviews and how to manage reviews. I hope I did a clear job of doing so. If you guys have any questions, please ask me. And what I wanted to do is now invite Katie and Derek back on here, and we can go into more details about how reviews and marketing, online marketing can work together. So I'm going to pass it over back to Derek here and go from there.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Drew. That was a great presentation, by the way. But I wanted to kind of maybe make a comment, maybe get your feedback just a little bit in regards to when you respond to those reviews. I've heard maybe some different things, but I think it's pretty easy based off of how you how you go about responding to a review. The last thing you want to have happen, correct me if I'm wrong, is that you don't want to have this conversation continue on the review site. Am I right?
Exactly.
You don't want to take it offline as quick as you can. Is that right?
Exactly. And I should have brought that up in a few slides ago. But if you were to go back into that slide, the best ones just say, hey, I want to give you a call right now and we can go over this. Or, hey, give me a call at my phone number and we can quickly resolve this. The less information, the shorter you keep it, the less chance that they're going to respond. They can't respond any further saying, if you tell them to give you a phone call, they can't really go back and add to that review or pile on, if you know what I mean. It's when you add a whole paragraph and become defensive that it's going to keep, snowballing, if you will, into something. Right. So if you cut it off at the pass and just say, hey, we're going to look into this, give me a call, or we're going to look into this, I'm going to give you a call right now, there's not too much that they can do. Now, obviously, is that going to work 100% of the time? No, but more often than not, that's going to be the proper way to do it.
Sure. I know. I've read a number of times where it just goes. Like the business owner responds to a review and kind of making excuses and blah blah, making himself look like he's not at fault, and then it just explodes from there, and it's. So
it's a great point to get it offline and control that conversation and let reviews work for you. I think when reviews and your digital marketing integration start working together, really great things can start to grow for your business. I know there's a lot of pieces to that. We talked about a lot of those pieces today, and so we would love to answer any questions that you have. You're welcome to put them in the chat or follow up with us after this. after this call by email. But we know that this combination can feel daunting at times. It can be like, where do I start? There's so many pieces to it. And so I hope breaking it down a little bit and seeing as you add them to each other, your marketing success can really grow.
And hopefully, yeah, during this webinar, you got kind of a better picture of how all of these channels, marketing channels, really need to come together and how they can really affect your business in a positive way. So I know that, and Drew, I don't know if you've got anything else you want to add, but I think we've done a pretty good job of clarifying kind of how this all works together. Tell me if you got anything to add, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's in it for them now.
Yeah, I'll add one last piece, and I kind of covered it before, but going off of bad reviews and kind of nipping it in the bud before it escalates, you don't want that to happen, because all of the work that you're doing through SEO, through social media, through paid search, all the parts that you guys talked about, you don't want a bad review or a bad reply to a review negate everything. You don't want somebody who finds you everywhere else and getting ready to purchase and then looks at a bad review and sees how you responded, and that ruined the whole thing for them. Reviews can work both ways, right? They can really help you out and help you increase that conversion rate and everything that you're already doing, or it can also do the negative. It can do the reverse, and it can lower those conversion rates. And I'm not saying that getting a bad review is the end of the world. It's not. It's actually good to have some bad reviews. It actually makes it more real for the consumer. But it's all about how you respond and how you reply for those reviews. So that was kind of the last point I wanted to make, is it can help you and it can hurt you. You just need to make sure to manage it properly.
Great point. Great point.
Totally agree. Now, I know we told you at the very beginning that this webinar is not designed as a sales presentation. We're not on this to sell you anything. Hopefully you found some found it fantastically educational. You're taking some great things away from it, and you're going to be able to use some of that in your marketing in your company. However, just as a final note, we do want you to be aware that we are both, Katie and I, as well as Drew, want you to know that we're here and we'd love to answer any questions and help you on your way to accomplishing your goals on your digital marketing, helping you tie this all together. So what Katie and I have put together is simply, if you'd like to get some more information, find out how you are doing online in your own company, and to potentially see how you kind of stack up against your competitors online. We'd love to chat with you for a few minutes and give you a personalized digital audit for your company and offer to you a free 30-minute consultation. Again, there's no cost, there's no obligation, just an opportunity for you to get some more great information on how, where you sit and how you need to move forward in regards to your digital strategies.
I know we talked about a lot of different things, and I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by those as you look at your own personal company. And so this audit is intended to be specifically for you. So maybe it's not right for your company to do all of those things at once. Maybe your company is doing all of those things great. We want to be able to have that conversation about where you are, what your market looks like in your geographical area, what your competitors are doing, and help you see a path to success that way.
If that's something that interests you, feel free to check out our website. Go to that spotonSolutions.com/schedule-a-consultation. You'll be able to fill out a form, schedule a consultation right there, and we'd be glad to jump on with you.
And Drew has another great offer for you as well. I'll let you tell them all about your offer, Drew.
Oh, I'm sorry, I muted myself there. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't mute yourself when you're about to give something away, Drew.
Right? So yeah, we're going to offer a free 30-day trial of our reviews application Acquirely. I didn't go too much into the application itself. You can find more about it at 33mileradius.com. But essentially what it does is it helps you get more reviews, especially with your team. So if you have multiple service or crew members out there who are you're talking to clients and customers, it's an easy way to get them in the habit and process, if you will, of asking for reviews each and every time in person. And it helps not only them, but it helps the customer navigate and find directly where they need to leave a review for you, whether it be on Google, Facebook, Angie's List, Home Advisor, all those good places. So yeah, that will be a free 30-day trial of Acquirely. If you're interested, shoot me an email, drew@33mileradius.com, or just go to our website and you can learn more there and fill out a contact us form if you're interested.
Fantastic. Well, that's I appreciate you taking the time today, Drew. I think this was a fantastic opportunity to get some great information to the people who attended today. It was a pleasure to work with you on this. Look forward to working with you more and more as time goes on. And
good luck as you get out there and grow your businesses.
Thanks a bunch. You guys
Absolutely.
have a fantastic day.
Thanks, Derek. Thanks, Katie. Bye.